Pere Marquette State Park is a nature lover's paradise. In addition to enjoying the spectacular views, visitors can take advantage of a variety of year-round recreational opportunities, including horseback riding, camping, hiking, fishing, hunting, and boating. In January and February, visitors are treated to a very special sight, as the park is home to one of the finest areas in Illinois for bald eagle watching. Every year, the park hosts tours to get an up-close look at hundreds of wintering bald eagles along the Mississippi River and the lower Illinois River. Scott Isringhausen is the eagle expert at Pere Marquette State Park and leads the bald eagle tours. He says winter in Illinois is prime time for the majestic birds.
They'll start coming in the months of November, with the highest concentration being in January and February. If I had to say for one time to be here, I'd say the last week in January or the first 10 days in February. But the reason the eagles come down to this area is, again, because the waters in the far north freezes. If it's a really, really mild year, not as many eagles are going to come this far south. If it gets really cold, more eagles may go a little bit farther south. But the reason that this area is such a fabulous place is we have three major rivers which come together in a relatively close geographical area. We have the Illinois and the Mississippi, which meets in Grafton. We have the Missouri and Mississippi River, which meets just the other side of Hartford, Illinois. So these eagles truly are all funneled down to this area or this vicinity.
During the park's Bald Eagle Days, visitors learn about eagle growth, what they eat, how they nest, and more.
People are so excited to see our national bird soaring on a 6.5 to 7 foot wingspan. You know, people love to see the eagles dive after a fish, just soaring around in the sky or sitting on the nest. It's just unbelievable, the people that have never had the opportunity to truly see our national bird in its natural habitat. You know, people come from all over the whole entire United States. Last year, I had people from Germany, I had people from Mexico, I had people from all over the entire world that came to this area, so they were drawn to this area because it truly is such a great place to see the bald eagles.
Distinguished by a white head and white tail feathers, bald eagles are powerful brown birds that can weigh up to 14 pounds and have a wingspan of up to 8 feet. Most are capable of breeding at 4 or 5 years of age, but in healthy populations, they may not start breeding until much older. They live near rivers, lakes, and marshes where they can search for their main meal.
Well, they primarily eat fish. Fish is their main source of food, but they eat other things. The second favorite food of our national bird is waterfowl, ducks, and geese. And then they eat other things such as roadkill deer, rabbits, squirrels, mice, really anything. They truly are opportunistic birds. They'll eat whatever's available, but fish being their main source of food.
An eagle's eyesight is 4 to 5 times stronger than a human's. They are visual hunters, locating their prey from a conspicuous perch or soaring flight, then swooping down and striking. It's said that eagles can spot a rabbit almost 2 miles away, and a fish from up to a half-mile away on the water. On the tour, some visitors will be lucky enough to see an eagle's nest. Eagle nests are large stick structures, usually high in large trees near water. They are typically 5 to 6 feet wide and 3 to 4 feet tall, but in some cases reach 10 feet across and weigh half a ton. Eagles sometimes have one or more alternate nests within their breeding territory.
When I first started working, it used to be called the Illinois Department of Conservation, not the Department of Natural Resources, but there was one active eagle's nest in the entire state. It was on Crab Orchard Lake. Now there are many more eagle's nests throughout the Midwest, in particular the states of Illinois and Missouri. We do see some nests on the eagle tour. As you're driving up and down the rivers, you will see these big, huge nests. They are called eyries. These nests are absolutely huge. They almost can be sometimes as large as a car, so sometimes they're very big.
Eagles typically come back to the same nest year after year and are faithful partners.
Whenever eagles mate, they mate for life. They keep coming back to the same nest each year. But eagles around here typically would mate the middle to the end of February. As they go farther back up north, the mating is done a little bit later in the year, which most of the eagles do, but it's an amazing thing to actually get to witness the eagles when they do their mating. It takes the eggs 35 days to hatch, and within 72 to 75 days, this bird is truly ready to fly. If you've ever seen an eagle egg, it truly looks like a big chicken egg. The egg's 3 inches long, 2 inches round, and white in color.
Bald eagles typically lay 1 to 3 eggs. Only one is laid per day, although not always on successive days. The eggs don't typically hatch at the same time, and Isringhausen says both parents help with feeding.
Mom and Dad both take care of feeding the eaglets. Mom does most of the work as first of all sitting on the nest, but then Dad will come in and will spell her because she has to fly and she has to stretch her wings to keep strong. But in the beginning, Mom will do most of the feeding, but as time goes on and they get a little bit older, Mom and Dad will both take care of the eaglets. They bring the food in, first of all, they take their beak and they put it down in the eaglets' mouths, and as they get older, they may just drop the food in there for the eaglets to feed on. And it's amazing, if you've ever been up in a nest or ever seen a nest, you may see turtle shells, you may see duck parts, you may see fish, you may see all kinds of things in that nest.
Because the eaglets hatch sporadically, they are different sizes in the nest.
Sometimes the younger ones are actually pecked out of the nest. There's a pecking order in there for the eaglets as well. Under real rare conditions, it's been documented that the mother will kill her weaker, sicker baby and feed it to the older, stronger surviving sibling. Mother knows that the species must perpetuate or continue on, and she will go to whatever drastic measure she can to make sure at least one will fledge or one will leave the nest.
Unfortunately, disease, lack of food, bad weather, or human interference can kill many eaglets. The bald eagle was on the endangered species list in Illinois until 2009 and is still protected by federal law. The biggest threat that nearly wiped out this majestic bird was the chemical DDT. Shortly after World War II, DDT was hailed as a new pesticide to control mosquitoes and other insects, but it was poisoning the eagles when they ate contaminated fish.
The DDT was greatly reducing the reproduction of the bald eagle. The eggshells were becoming so thin because the high concentration of DDT, when this big, huge bird would sit in the nest, eggs absolutely shatter and crush. DDT was banned in 1973. It took several years for the eagles to start making a comeback, but that's truly why we have the eagles in such high populations, is because of the banning of the DDT.
Isringhausen says watching the eaglets grow is a neat process, since it happens so quickly.
If you've ever seen an eaglet that is born, it is so small, it's just amazing, and they grow so quick. Sometimes they actually double in weight in a 24-hour period. But as they continue to grow, by the time they're 72 to 75 days, they look pretty much like an adult. They do not have their white heads. They do not get that until they're between 4.5 to 5 years old. Most people don't realize this, but the female is truly the larger of the two.
In this remarkable footage from above an eagle's nest in Pike County, we get to see the eaglets, just weeks old, in their natural habitat. One is very interested in the camera, and the other two not so much, as they lay together napping. To our amazement, all three of the fledgling eaglets survived and have since left the nest. The chicks will be nearly full grown at 9 weeks of age. They will add some weight as they develop their flight muscles, and their wingspan will be as large or slightly larger than the adults at this time. Once most of their wing and tail feathers are developed, the eaglets can finally leave the nest. Eaglets practice flying by vigorously exercising and flapping their wings. First flights usually occur at 9 to 10 weeks of age, usually gliding to a nearby tree or stump and returning to the nest tree frequently to be fed by the adults. At 17 to 23 weeks of age, the bond between the adults and their young fades, and this is when the young eagles leave the territory, heading to more northerly shorelines in search of good feeding grounds. The bald eagle is truly an all-American bird. It is the only eagle unique to North America and to Illinois. Pere Marquette State Park is delighted to share this iconic raptor every year with its visitors. Bald Eagle Days are typically held all through January into early March.
Come to Pere Marquette State Park, stay at the lodge, go to the restaurant and eat. But in addition to that, if you got a day, come to one of the free bald eagle programs at Pere Marquette State Park. These have been going on for a long time. Sometimes we'll see as many as 100 eagles, sometimes a handful, but there's never been one that we haven't seen at least 4 or 5 eagles. And again, they're 100% free, they're fun. Anybody that's really small, anybody that's old like me, come to the park and come to one of the programs. Like I said, it's a great, great day and a great family outing.